Well, there's not been much of a trade market for Baker Mayfield since the Browns acquired Deshaun Watson, and many of the starting quarterback spots have been filled now. But one NFL executive still sees a good landing spot for him. An anonymous exec from the NFC believes that Baker would be the best option for the Seahawks, and that Pete Carroll would be able to rein in Baker's persona.
Oh, boy.
He also thinks that Baker has the potential to be named Comeback Player of the Year.
That's stupid.
Season.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Can we, I always love this when coaches think, I can change the player. These are 20.
Don't we all do that? Don't we all just find a project that we believe in?
I guess.
Yes, we have all done that. The difference is when your job is on the line, you probably shouldn't do that. Because I'm with you. Why did anyone expect Russell Westbrook to be anything other than what he is? There's so much evidence.
Stubborn, athletic, turnovers. He is exactly what he's been.
Yes.
Everybody, you're not going to change Baker. Well, this is what Pete Carroll does. No, what Pete Carroll does is lose when he doesn't have Russell Wilson. So let's stop it.
Correct. Listen, if he was a really young player, and Baker is still a young player, but a raw young talent
without the money,
still be molded.
Yeah.
Yes, without the 5011 Progressive commercials.
No. Baker's got his $35 million in the bank, so you're not going to push Baker around at this point.
Correct.
He can go back to Oklahoma and live a hell of a life.
Correct. Now he can still play in this league, so it's not like he doesn't have a future in the NFL. But he's not going to be a franchise quarterback. We have enough evidence now to see that even when you have a plethora of talent around him, a stable coach and front office, it still doesn't work. So, yes, you're right. Stop trying to change people. We've all done it. We've all failed. Because the reality is, people only change for themselves.
I talked to a therapist years and years ago, and this woman, very smart woman, she said, we're all what we are at 9 years old. Just we have hair now and mustaches. And she said, we're all an older version of our 9-year-old self. And we are. I'm somebody surrounded by 6 kids. At 3 and 4 years old, they're exactly what we all knew they would be. They become taller,
right, heavier,
smarter versions of what they were at 4 years old. You're not going to change. Baker's had a chip on his shoulder forever. It's why he's in the league. But this idea that you're going to, we're going to bring him down and we're going to fasten, certain limitations on. Just like the dude's made his money.
There's so many examples of that failing. I do think that they're not going to change their personalities, but I do think that people can grow. I think people can adjust.
Yes.
But they're not going to do it for you. They do it for themselves. That's the only way it works. Well, you can beg someone to do something. You can incentivize someone to do something. Well, unless they want to do it, it's not going to happen.
One of the only times people change, truthfully, when they get old and rich, is if there's a health scare. Like, stop smoking or you'll die.
Right.
People will do it. Stop drinking or you'll die.
But who are they doing it for?
Themselves. They want to live.
Die.
Right.
Right. So it's just a silly concept. And as far as him being the best option for the Seahawks, I don't believe that. I think they should draft someone. If you were going to go with Baker Mayfield, why wouldn't you just draft a quarterback that you can actually mold and build up and build around?
And don't have to pay anything to.
And don't have to pay anything
I think they think Drew Lock is that. He's not.
Baker, the Broncos didn't even think that he was that. That's why they brought in Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, think about this. Think about how good the offensive pieces are for Denver. So good that Teddy Bridgewater completed like 66% of his throws. Teddy did. Drew Lock completed 59% of his throws. And now you're going to Seattle with a worse O-line, with worse receivers, with a worse running back room. It's like, and by the way, a coach that drove Russell Wilson crazy because of sort of a Jurassic offensive approach.
No. So. Well, the Dolphins added one of the most dangerous weapons in the league in Tyreek Hill last week, and although he's known for his offensive talents, he's also made an impact as a punt returner, and he made it clear to Chris Grier, the GM in Miami, that he wants to be involved in the return game. Grier said, Tyreek, the first thing he said was, I want to make sure I'm back there getting a couple of returns every game. We're fortunate with him, Javon Hollins, Jalen Waddle. We have guys that can do that. They're all big contributors on their side of the ball as well, and we have a couple of other guys that can return. So we're not really worried about the return game.
No, they'll have the best return game. Waddle's great. I mean, they have the fastest receiving core in the league. Doesn't mean it's the best.
Oh, no, they have a track meet.
Yeah, yes. So they're going to have the best punt return team in the league if they can block a little.
Well, During Hill's rookie year in 2016, he returned 39 points, 14 kickoffs, and scored 3 touchdowns. Now, that was 2016. Most recently, he returned 1 punt per year in 2019 and 2020 and didn't field any in the 2021 season. But that's exciting that he wants to do that. Now, I know fans are probably going to be like, why would you put him back there? Like, it's an injury situation. But when you have a talent as fast as Tyreek Hill, and Dolphins special teams unit is good.
Yeah, so by the way, I don't play fantasy football, but when I read that story, I think, man, Deebo Samuel and Tyreek Hill, I would draft those guys.
Well, interestingly enough, Mike McDaniel coached Deebo Samuel.
That's right.
And he wants to use Tyreek Hill in a Deebo Samuel type of role.
Yeah.
So be creative with it. That's what they hired him for.
That's right.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of anxiety last night. I know it was a tall scale for Costa Rica to move the U.S. men's
when
national team
it went down 2-0.
I got a little nervous.
I did too.
I'm like, I know it's still a couple goals
This
away.
Is not Argentina. I've seen us. We can struggle in really key spots. We're not Germany. Yeah. We're not, I
didn't feel good about it. But the U.S. men's national team has officially clinched their spot at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So we can all take a deep breath. They will be there despite a 2-0 loss to Costa Rica last night. They were able to secure one of CONCACAF's 3 automatic World Cup berths along with Canada and Mexico. They finished the 14-game qualification cycle with a 7-4-3 record. They left them tied for third with Costa Rica, but their plus 11 goal differential was the tiebreaker. So now we can wait in anticipation for the World Cup draw, and you can watch it all right here on FS1 tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.
Big
Eastern.
deal. Now, it's a big deal.
Yes.
So there are harder draws and easier draws. So we know in our draw we're not going to have in our group like Canada or Mexico, right? That you can't do that. But so we're going to end up getting somebody from Europe that's not ideal, and I can't wait to see who it is.
Yes, well, we'll see all that tomorrow here on FS1.
All right, Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for
A very accurate comment yesterday. He was talking about the situation the Lakers are in. This is the Yankees. This is Duke. This is Notre Dame. It's a massive brand. So as the Lakers go, the league has always had better ratings when the Lakers are good. I mean, it was a big deal when they won in the bubble. The bubble was a hard visual aesthetic for the league. It was fake fans on boards. The Lakers winning, it wasn't great for the ratings, but it made the league relevant. LeBron won. The Lakers won. So he was talking about, and he's been covering him for years, that LeBron's career operates in 4-year increments. And he laid it out for you. He said, then he wears them out. It becomes operational fatigue. And this is not arguable. He said, first time in Cleveland. You build to win now. They ran into draft picks, and by the end, he had an old Anton Jameson and Shaq. Then he goes to Miami, and they want to win now. 4 years, great run. They run into draft picks. In his last game in Miami, 3 guys retired after the game. And they go back to Cleveland. Here we go. They run into draft picks. He leaves. They've got to rebuild. They're a mess. And what do the Lakers have now? No draft picks in the oldest roster in NBA history. He's absolutely right. This is the cycle for LeBron. Give up your future, win now, I leave, and you're a mess. But you do it because you want to be legitimate. You bail on the future to win now, he leaves, you're scrambling. The difference, as Windhorst points out, LeBron loves LA. He don't want to go anywhere. He's doubled his net worth. And this is why Jeannie Buss, in my opinion, has to trade massive swings Anthony Davis, Westbrook, and everybody but LeBron, but potentially LeBron, because he's done this 4 times. The difference now, of course, this is where the Lakers have power. The Cavs did not twice, and Miami didn't. LeBron is older. He can't play all the back-to-backs. He can't give you 40 minutes. He can't carry a weak roster. So you have to go to LeBron and say, LeBron, we're going to trade everything except you. We'd like to keep Malik Monk. We can't afford him, probably. I like Malik Monk a lot. But he's giving you 13, 14 points a game, and he's going to get big money on the market. You probably can't pay him. You have to go to LeBron and say, LeBron, you don't have that power. We love you. You're the guy we'd like to keep. But we're going to get young. We're going to accumulate draft picks. We're going to start over. You have to be willing to play with younger players for the first time in your career, or we're going to trade you. And they can. And they would. And so that's where we stand right now. And, LeBron's camp looks at it and goes, yeah, but every time we do this, we win titles. Like Miami, I got you 2 titles. Cleveland, I got you your first title. Lakers, I got you a title. And he's right. The difference now, though, he doesn't have the leverage, and he loves L.A. So his kids love L.A., wife loves L.A., business great in L.A. He don't want to leave. And the Lakers don't want him to leave. But they are now Cleveland when he left, Miami when he left. They're a mess. And you can't depend on LeBron to play every night. If you can get 65 games out of LeBron, that's great. One of the things I've been on here now for like almost 2 years is you got to move off AD. He's the worst kind.